Hi everybody, my name is Grace Chimezie, and today we are going to be talking to an automotive and safety solutions expert called Frank Borris, who has had a long history working in the regulatory sector and has a bit of an in-depth knowledge on how the automotive transmission works. And we'll get right back to it. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
Introduce yourself and what you do and how automatic transmission, it's relevant to the car industry.
Sure. Again, my name is Frank Borris. I am an automotive safety professional by training. My background's in mechanical engineering. For the last 25 years, I have worked in the Federal Department of Transportation, mostly during that time in the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, with a focus on defects investigation and recalls, but now providing consulting services to private industry. When you talk about transmission specifically, they have changed a lot since the first hydraulic automatic shifting transmission came into commerce around 1940 by General Motors in Oldsmobile vehicles, and then later on in Cadillac vehicles. And that was just before World War II. And interestingly, that same technology ended up in tanks, believe it or not, that were used in World War II. And a lot of the bugs and weak points were worked out and discovered through actually World War II, and then those improvements came into production after the war.
Okay, so you spoke about the changes that have happened over the years in automatic transmission. Could you kind of highlight what specific changes those were, and is it something that was visible and also technical?
Sure, yeah, well, I mean, there are changes, some visible and some very, very simple. When automatic transmissions first came out, there actually was no formal parking position. You actually just left it in reverse and turned the car off, and that held the car in a safe stationary position. As time went on, you started to see other changes, like adding additional gears, adding overdrive, so that when you're on the highway, the engine would turn a lot less RPMs, save gas. You saw changes like the torque converter, the hydraulic coupling that transfers the power from the engine to the transmission. Those, depending on the design, can have some inefficiencies that cause fuel loss and a loss of efficiency. Things like lock-up torque converters, where the torque converters have a clutch built into them that could lock up at highway speeds and make the transmissions more efficient.
Would you say that the automatic transmission changed how people drove cars? What kind of regulation had to be put in place because of the improvement on automatic transmission?
One of the changes that came about in automatic transmissions, and it's really a combination of the transmission and the ignition system, was to install an ignition interlock, and that would require the key could not be removed from the vehicle unless it were the vehicle was in park. Another feature that was added to vehicles over time was installing a brake interlock system. So if you notice now, when you get in your car, you can't just go from park to reverse without doing something first, and that's put your foot on the brake. And prior to that, there were more incidences of people actually backing over someone that was sitting behind the vehicle and outside of the line of sight. Now you don't have to be really strong and have really strong legs to work a heavy clutch, because now it's an automatic transmission. Or people just inadvertently rolling out of their driveway and running into things because they didn't have their foot on the brake. That was a major change that really made cars a lot safer.
I just want to thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.